Well, now we've got our sauce simmering on the stove. It'll go for a little while. Tomato sauces are always good if they simmer for a while. Now we're going to make our pasta. First we'll make the pasta dough, then we'll take a break, and then we'll roll it out. Pasta dough takes a little bit of practice and experience to make. You can make it in a food processor. You can make it, I don't know, maybe even a blender. But honestly, by hand has been the best thing for me over the years I've been making it. So I have a recipe, and here I actually do measure, which I don't often do, to make things right. So we have 2 cups of flour, a teaspoon of salt so far. And then we're going to take some eggs, one at a time, and we're going to cut them into there, right? So I made a little hole for the egg number 1 here. And now I've got a scraper that I use. You could use knives also, but the scraper works pretty well. And we're just going to keep breaking it up until it's incorporated pretty well. We'll do 2 more eggs after this. So unlike bread dough, this is pretty hard to work with. You've got to sometimes be a little more aggressive than you would with a bread dough. You'll see when we get to kneading it what I mean by that. So at this point, we're basically trying to use this device to be able to break up the little pieces of the yolk as much as possible, and it's best to do 1 at a time. So we'll do 1, make another well again. We'll get number 2 going in here. There's the second yolk. Do a little bit more of that. I think you'll find that if you can get around to making fresh pasta, you will not believe the difference in terms of the flavor. Even if you're making lasagna, I guarantee you, you can tell the difference when you eat it. It's house-made pasta is a real thing to behold. I mean, you can make it just by rolling it out by hand. It's better to have a mixer with an attachment. That's what we're going to do here. Or they make hand crank rollers as well. That'd be a little less frustrating if you actually have a machine to do it. Okay, now we're going to go with our 3rd egg in here. Egg number 3 going down in a little hole. Don't need the eggshell. Off we go with that. And it's just the same process of cutting it in. I'm cutting on a marble cutting board. It's a really nice tool to have. Not so much for this project, but certainly when you're making pie dough or something like that, where you want to make, you have a real flat surface. It's a really nice tool to have. So I highly recommend buying a marble cutting board. So we have the egg just about mixed in with it. If you don't want to cut any step out here where you don't want to go too soon until you've actually got it pretty well incorporated, because otherwise you're not going to have a pretty good dough. We've had a lot of failures over the years, so it's nice to know why something will fail. See if you can avoid it. So after this, we're going to drizzle it with a little bit of olive oil. Olive oil gives it a little flavor. It also binds the dough, because you notice there's absolutely no water in this dough. So that provides a little bit of a challenge. Water would make the pasta hard. It wouldn't work very well. But it provides a little bit of a challenge in terms of getting it mixed properly. So we're going to put a couple tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil in here. And maybe an extra shot there for good luck. And then at this point, I got to get in there with my hands to fold it, make it into a ball. Use your fingers a little bit to try to get it mixed. You want to get a cohesive ball. Keep moving it around. And then what you're going to want to do after this is you want to knead it. So again, you're not going to knead it the way you would sort of gently do a bread dough. You need need to put a little bit of power into it. This would explain why Italian grandmothers have got serious shoulders. I think people that make pasta probably, their shoulders are so strong and broad, they probably ought to be playing on the offensive line for the Wabash College team, because you really want to hit it hard when you do it. So, you know, I would not, if I'm making a bread dough, I would not press as hard as I'm pressing here. So I'm pressing down and then turning, press down again. So you're basically trying to get the elasticity of the dough, the gluten, you know, the thing that a lot of people don't like anymore, gluten. The gluten has, or they're allergic to, I should say. The gluten develops in the dough when it's pushed hard and springing back like this. So you can almost tell by looking that the dough is starting to become a little more elastic, right? So we'll keep this up for a few minutes. Then what we have to do after this is chill it for an hour or two before we roll it out. So I'm using the marble cutting board to be able to make it flatten out the dough as I'm pushing it down. So we just got to, again, it's like anything else in life, it's got to get to a certain feel before it's right. Probably have to have a lot of failed experiments. So this is getting pretty much smooth. All right, just about there. All right, so close enough for government work, as they say. Put it in a bowl. We're going to cover it up. We're going to chill it for at least an hour, probably 2 hours, and let it relax a little bit, and then we'll be able to actually roll it out. And so that'll be our next step when we come back. And see you soon.